Part 37. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 361. Director Qin's heart capacity is gradually improving, and he is now the most relaxed one. In order to scare this audience more, the program team will put on a tense soundtrack when editing in the later stage, and also add a line of big characters. I remember that the program team said at the beginning that they will simulate the real workplace, and the interns will solve any problems themselves. If SI fucking really wants to go to the program team and ask for a picture, I look down on her. There is no way, they are big stars, tisk tisk. SI Fu poured the fire too fast. 2 years of blackmail on the whole network, just relied on the show youth to make a turnaround. After that, her resources exploded exponentially, and her endorsement of variety shows, movies and TV dramas, there is not one bad. SI fucking also did not sign any brokerage companies, so naturally many people were jealous. It's not easy. No, the audience heard her say calmly, we draw it ourselves. The barrage was rarely unified, and a question mark floated past, covering the entire screen. Draw it yourself? Luckily, you can figure it out, your hand is not a printer, you can draw a stick figure at most. Can the acupuncture points of the human body be drawn? On the screen, SI fucking calmly picked up the marker and began to draw on the paper Wei Chenjiun brought. She finished the outline in one stroke, and the curvature of the curve was just right. Then start marking each acupointment again. The camera was also given to the other members of Group A, who were paralyzed like Wei Chenjiun, and their pupils were shaking. Until she marked all the acupoints, let Wei Chenjiun go up and fill in the names. Wei Chenjiun is the school grass and student god of Xiadian's 3 departments. As an amateur, he also has a large number of fans. But when fans found out that even Wei Chenjiun had a few acupuncture points that were not filled in, they were all shocked. SI fucking is actually a Chinese medicine doctor? Drawing a map of acupuncture points is called Chinese medicine. It's really funny, the threshold for being a Chinese medicine doctor is really low these days. It's very low. I don't know some acupuncture points in Chinese medicine, but your sister drew it. Smile smile. SI fucking knew in advance, the director team has such a good relationship with her, so I must have disclosed it to her in advance. At first, I heard rumors that many medical students were invited to this show just to match SI fucking. Just hold SI fucking. And as if he knew the thoughts of netizens, after SI fucking finished drawing this picture, the camera was sent to the director's office and the judges clearly recorded their stunned expressions. Very natural. If it really came from the show, all the actors and actresses have the acting skills. Director Qin, I can run for the best actor with my acting skills. Do you have any opinions? No opinion, no opinion, Doghead saves life. I knew it wasn't a script at all, my wife is awesome. Okay, take 10,000 steps back, SI fucking really knew in advance that the acupointment map would be lost. She could memorize the acupointment map. It shows that she has a strong memory and is willing to learn. Sister Ni is more courageous. However, just when the barrage started to quarrel, the screen changed again and it was given to the dean. The dean took SI fucking's acupointment map of the human body and praised it, and wanted to buy this map. He was also photographed with a cracked expression after listening to the director's words. No, if a female star hears this, she can't go to earn extra money. Shut up, shut up, shut up, are you responsible for withdrawing from the circle? A 2-hour program, after watching it, the audience was still a little unfulfilled. It is undeniable that some netizens have changed their views on SI fucking after watching this episode of the variety show. After all, SI fucking is a hot search physique, and hanging on the hot search every day will also arouse the disgust of others. But what she showed in the birth of a staff. Congratulations, congratulations. Sang Yanking made a special call, the ratings are good. It broke the ratings of the variety show in the past 2 years, and the number of online broadcasts has reached 50 million today. The director of Daxia station specially gave you a package. I got a red envelope and I'll send it to you tomorrow. It went so well, do you have anything to say? I fucking touched his chin. I'm thinking about whether I should draw a few more maps of the acupuncture points of the human body and sell them to the dean. Sang yanking. Does this allow you to discover business opportunities? It is a pity not to do financial investment. At the end of the call, Sang yanking worriedly said to the agent assistant, how many geniuses have I delayed? What should I do if someone comes to me desperately? Agent assistant. She said cautiously, Sister Sang, your heart is full of joy, so don't show this expression. You girl, you are talking about me at this time. Sang yanking scolded with a smile, everyone has merit, I will treat you later. All departments of the studio cheered. Sang yanking is not worried about the birth of a staff, she is worried about the TV series Girls of the Town. Another tough battle to be fought. Sci-fi leaned over here. She just got off the phone with Sang yanking when she received another call. No caller ID. She narrowed her eyes and picked it up, but said nothing. Until the other party couldn't help but said, hey, why don't you speak? It's you, little prodigy. Sci-fi heard this voice, it's rare, you called me personally, what's the matter? Lu Xingkai tried hard to convince himself to ignore the title, and he asked, you know that this year's international entrance examination potential has been evaluated as an SSS level, right? I fucking snorted, I passed the test, what's wrong? I knew it was you. Lu Xingkai gritted his teeth, except for a pervert like you, no one can get a perfect score. Aren't you full marks too? I fucking said lazily, why are you so excited? You came to me for this. Why am I so excited? You still have the guts to ask? I'll ask you what else you can't do. Lu Xingkai just wanted to swear, acting, game design, academia, you still went to participate. Medical variety show. He couldn't hold back, and still exploded. Even calling him a little prodigy, he only felt ashamed. I fucking was not angry, and said lightly, what's the matter, as long as you lose enough, you can learn a lot with your heart. Lu Xingkai was stunned, you. By the way, you're in Liberty Island, right? I fucking snapped his fingers, how about doing me a favor? I'll definitely help you if you're busy. What can you do for me? I don't want it. Lu Xingkai was very arrogant, tell me, what can I do for you? I need to advance the international entrance exam, preferably in June or July. I fucking said, how is it? In advance, Lu Xingkai was choked, you are addicted to the exam? Can you not be so perverted? Okay, I'll mention it and move it forward for you. In previous years, the international examination was held around October and November. If it is advanced to June, the workload is indeed heavy, and it may cause dissatisfaction among other candidates. However, the format of the international entrance examination is different from the college entrance examination or the Saturday, not to mention 5 more months. Even if it takes 2 more years, it will not be of much use. This test is only for genius. Swiba can also rely on acquired efforts, but genius is an innate inspiration. Well, it's troublesome. I fucking laughed lazily, thank you little prodigy. Lu Xingkai. He's going to blow up. Don't stop him today, he must make more directional bombs. I fucking hung up the phone, feeling a little hungry, ready to go out for supper. At this moment, she received news from Yu Zion. Big Gold Master, come down, I brought you fried chicken and milk tea. I fucking's eyes lit up and ran down immediately. Feng San and Canyoning are also there. Yu Zion handed over the still hot milk tea. Sushi was below zero today, his fingertips were cold, and the milk tea failed to warm his palm. I fucking immediately held his hands, boss, how is my hot water bottle? Yu Zion paused, it's still good. It's just okay, I fucking covered it again. How can there be such a caring hot water bottle like me? You're just okay. I said something wrong. He smiled slightly. Very good. It's about the same. After I fucking warmed his hands, he happily ate supper. Seeing this scene, Feng San was extremely ashamed. Ninth brother, I'm sorry for you. He and Kenyon signed up for the Psychology of Love run by the Mo family. Then after a class, he suddenly realized that the difference between Ju Ji and Miss Si is not because Miss Si is a good employee. He finally understood. Recalling his previous actions, Feng San just wanted to find a place to get in. Brother Ju didn't beat him. He felt that Brother Ju had a good temper. Ninth brother, Feng San is too bad. Kenyon complained. I asked him to go with me to sign up for the family's class, which forced him to say not to sign up, but secretly signed up. You don't know him and me. How embarrassing it was to bump into each other in class. Before Yu Zion spoke, I fucking took a sip of milk tea and said, Sanzan, you're not being kind. How could you sign up quietly? Feng San was speechless. He hesitated. Miss Si, I want to ask you a question. You go, I'll ask. Kenyon pushed Feng San away with a loud voice. Miss Si, do you like Brother Ju? Feng San was startled. Hey. Where is the question for such a straight ball? Isn't this a direct reveal? I like it. I fucking dealt with the fried chicken seriously. The boss is so nice, of course I like it. Did you see it? Kenyon was very proud. Ninth brother, Miss Si said she likes you. Yu Zion turned her head and met Si fucking's calm gaze. He sighed. I see, you all go down. I like this, not the other. It's going to heat up. Canyoning and Feng San got out of the car, found an intersection in front of them and squatted down, nibbling on chicken legs. Look, I'm still the best, Kenyon said triumphantly. It doesn't matter if you learn it, it's nothing to learn. Feng San hates that iron cannot become steel. You are a mental retard. Just in case, they still shut up automatically and don't make trouble for Brother 9. Otherwise, it's a disservice, and I don't know how to die. Yesterday, Crossing the Devil officially ended, and there was another batch of new netizens who entered the pit with archaeological works by Si fucking. Youth and 66 Days of Survival have become popular again, and they remain high on the hot search. Even Lonely is starting to increase at the box office. The Birth of a Staff is even more popular. Such a series of influence and benefits are unmatched by other stars. I didn't expect that. I was really wrong. Although Si fucking is definitely not comparable to those professional medical students, she really didn't paddle at all. Moreover, when the doctor who led the team asked her questions, she could answer them fluently. Other stars roll up. Okay, people can obviously rely on looks, but they rely on strength. Nia really lets Si fucking support it alone. Too many meetings are also a sin. I just want to watch her act and walk the red carpet. As soon as Si fucking became popular, more entertainment reporters wanted to get her latest news. But Si fucking's transparent physique is too weird to take useful photos. Many netizens who eat melon do not pay attention to the entertainment industry, they just want to eat melon and watch dramas. A new entry climbed the trending list. Hashtag Si fucking, the lone heroine hashtag. Many people thought that this was Si fucking's next drama, but after clicking on it, it was different from what they thought. At Circle V, the latest news broke that a new top streamer pushed the drama Lone Walk. The drama Lone Walk was filed last year and was adapted from a reality novel. The director and his team are veteran gods, and they have won several Yunding awards. Many star teams are licking this pie. But if you can't lick it, you can't lick it? Pushed Lone Walk, Si fucking, don't think about it. How many people can't turn if they want to make a transition? Why not when the opportunity is in front of you? Indeed, the heroine of Lone Walk started filming from the age of 16 until she was 24. No one in this age group has better acting skills than Si fucking. Lone Walk has been pushed. What's the matter? SI fucking received a better drama than Lone Walk. What kind of drama makes you so floating? Good morning. Continue to give the sweet and sweet monthly pass. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 362. As soon as this revelation came out, many star teams couldn't sit still. The Lone Walk crew found SI fucking, which surprised them. To their shock, SI fucking pushed it. Is it really because Dragon Crossing is so popular that SI fucking relied on this drama to confer the best of the gods, so he didn't pay attention to the main drama? The main drama is the only way to win the mainstream award. How can a drama with supernatural elements win the Yunding Award? How to put it, I'm a little disappointed. I like Dragon Crossing very much, but I don't want SI fucking to only indulge in this drama. The first drama of many actors is the peak, and the latter one pulls the crotch more than the other. It must be floating. A 19-year-old girl has acted in a play Feng Shen top stream, who doesn't float? More and more people are discussing. Because the popularity is too high, SI fucking studio has been very busy this month, busy sue all kinds of sunspots and keyboard warriors. SI fucking also generously raised the wages of his employees. As soon as this hot search came out, it was detected immediately. Sister Sang, it seems that the Lone Walk crew took the initiative to release news to Yuji. The agent assistant came over in a hurry, and she looked disgusted. They have a good plan, and the birth of a staff has broken these 2 days. The variety show record is set, and Dragon Crossing has broken the ratings record again. A lot of crews like to run powder. Every once in a while, news will be released that a certain top streamer is about to appear in a certain drama, and all the top streamers will go through it. This kind of operation is not surprising in the entertainment industry. I knew it, Sang Yanking sneered. These people in the entertainment industry are all superficial and behind the scenes, aren't they serious dramas? Isn't there a lot of stars who are begging to act? Public relations immediately, don't give them a chance to gain popularity. The assistant manager nodded. She had just walked a few steps before she paused. Sister Sang, no need, Ching Ching has already posted on Weibo. What happened? Sang Yanking's heart instantly raised in his throat. Don't be a father to someone else, right? The agent assistant's mouth twitched. No, it's very gentle this time. Sang Yanking was a little unconvinced, and took the tablet to take a look. At V, the next drama is a costume drama, SHH, I will announce it when I'm ready. Everyone is quiet, we have to keep a low profile and don't scare others. This time, the entry hashtag #Sifukingzindra hashtag instantly overwhelmed the entry hashtag #Saifuching, lone heroine hashtag. Costume drama, looking forward to it. Since it is on the hot search, then Amway will give us a look at our new variety show, The Birth of a Staff. Dr. S.I., you deserve it. No official announcement, no appointment, please don't step on your sister and rub your sister's enthusiasm. There are also netizens who eat melons to help speak. What's wrong with people not filming Lone Walk? Press your head and let someone pick it up. It seems that Nii really doesn't have a florid who can act, and SI fucking made the crew burn his eyebrows if he didn't pick up the heroine. I really want to know who SI fucking chose as the heroine of Lone Walk instead of Lone Walk. SI fucking's acting skills have been recognized by the masses. If Lone Walk chooses a heroine whose acting skills are not as good as hers, she will inevitably be compared. Learn well. Sang Yanking was very relieved. We kill 2 birds with 1 stone, we are worthy of being involved in the entertainment industry. Not only put the Lone Walk crew together, but also raised netizens' expectations for her next drama. Most importantly, save a PR fee. Sang Yanking deeply doubted that this was SI fucking's purpose. She pondered for a while. Contact Ludeo later, let's discuss about girls of the town. The agent assistant responded and went down to prepare. On the other side, Sijukan. Yu Yao just came out of Ji's house. Ji Qinggui vomited blood again. which made him very irritable, and even Sieche, who came to him, didn't think much of it. Ayo, I'm so fascinated. Where did you take a look at first? But all of it. Sieche was very excited. Sci-fucking is actually a Chinese medicine doctor. Yu Yao didn't intend to respond, until he heard a familiar name. Who are you talking about? Sci-fucking, Sieche said. Didn't she film a variety show? I heard that Li Yinshan's substitute girlfriend was also there, but I didn't expect her to be a doctor. You didn't find out that she chased you before? Yu Yao was speechless, and he didn't know what to say. Sci-fucking is so popular now that he can meet her fans wherever he goes. Her billboards are everywhere, too. The largest advertising screen in the commercial building of the 49 City Center has been generously packaged by RM, and new product promotional videos are broadcast every day. Yu Yao couldn't imagine that Sci-fucking, who had been chasing him abroad and he didn't even bother to look at him, would come back from the ashes in just 1 year. It would be a lie to say that there is no regret in my heart. It's just that he doesn't allow him to show it. Sci-fucking's face is really not dark, and his acting skills are really high, but Chinese medicine? Yu Yao pursed his lips, as if some ants were biting his heart, a little breathless. If it wasn't for her poor family, I would definitely have gone after her. Sieche felt a little regretful, but to be honest, she is much stronger than those young ladies. But if they want to get a wife, they must ask for the right match. After all, not everyone can be like Shen 11, who can start their own business and have a net worth of tens of billions, and can decide their own marriage. Sieche is a playboy who can only be a victim of a commercial marriage. Yu Yao took a deep breath. Okay, stop talking, I'm in a bad mood today, go for a ride. Not in a good mood, Sieche turned the steering wheel. Is it about Miss G's second lady again? Yu Yao acquiesced. Ayo, don't blame me for not reminding you, your green plum is getting worse and worse, and maybe one day it will die. Sieche said, it is impossible for your family to allow you to marry her. Since you can't marry her, don't do it. Give people hope. Yu Yao was a little impatient, just drive your car. Sieche shrugged, okay. He opened the car tablet computer, specifically found the first issue of The Birth of a Staff and showed it to Yu Yao. Yu Yao didn't want to look at it at first, but gradually attracted his attention. When he came back to his senses, he had already read half of it. Sieche said again, I said she is very powerful. You said that your childhood friend can do everything, and she will definitely not be able to heal. An unknown anger rose in Yu Yao's heart. He reached out and turned off the computer, and closed his eyes again, so he couldn't see or was upset. In his heart, there is still no one who can compare with Ji Qingwei. On the second night, Crossing the Devil ended perfectly, and the variety show of guest interviews on Xing Guangtai also kicked off in a timely manner. Both Sci-fucking and Mo Yishan were present, as well as the Princess of the Demon World, who played a lot in the play, as well as several other heavyweight supporting roles. Tang Haiqiu was also there. The guests invited this time can be said to be the heaviest episode of this interview variety show in recent months. When it officially started at 8 o'clock, there were 20 million real-time online viewers, not to mention other viewers in front of the TV. As we all know, During the Demons is a fairy tale drama, and fighting is the top priority. The hostess looked at the handcard and smiled, but many enthusiastic audiences have also discovered that the ending song is on the staff list. There is no martial arts instructor position. We are all curious, how did the moves in Dragon Crossing come from? Can director Tang reveal a little? The play of Dragon Crossing is really amazing, each move is sharp and beautiful. Which immortal was he designed it? Please also watch other costume dramas. This martial finger must give me fire. That's right, there really is no martial arts in Crossing the Devil. Tang Haiqiu took the microphone, because Mr. Si felt that the crew was too poor. She personally took it as a martial arts. Some of the moves were drawn after I finished filming Sword Immortal, but most of them were given by teacher SI. The fight scenes you saw were all played by her, and many of them were played on the spot. I let others learn, you can't learn. The audience was stunned. No way. No, Tang Haikyu has gone a bit too far in order to support SI fucking. Why should she give her any credit? The fight scene in Dragon Crossing is obviously carefully designed and cannot be played on the spot. The hostess was also stunned. It was the male host who spoke to save the scene in time. I didn't expect that teacher SI actually learned martial arts. I wonder if he can show us his hands on the scene. As soon as he finished saying this, he could not wait to slap himself. It's over, I said the wrong thing. The male host wanted to make amends, but it was too late. The audience at the scene were all intrigued. The number of people online is also increasing. Playing live is different from filming a drama without real kung fu. There is no way to perform. I don't ask you to pull any swords, just flip a few somersaults in the air. Hearing the cheers and boos below, the male host was already sweating on his forehead. The purpose of this interview is indeed to support SI fucking, and naturally it must be centered on her. But they didn't expect Tang Haikyu to make such an answer, and now they put SI fucking on the cusp. If she can't show the same reach as in the show. The male host smiled bitterly. He was ready to be fired by the director of Starlight Station. Since everyone wants to see it, let's show a few tricks. SI fucking stepped forward, she raised her hand, and calmly said, use a sword. As if at this moment, Sui Yan, the god of war, came to the world. Ah, it's almost Saturday. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 363. For a time, everyone was taken by the sudden change of momentum on her body. What she was pointing at was the sword in the hands of Takeshi, who was invited by the show team. At the beginning of the variety show, 18 martial arts students performed a neat fighting scene, and the previous leader also introduced that the sword is a real sword, weighing 36 pounds. You should know that the swords used by ordinary fencers are about 500 grams. Even the épée is still less than 2 kilograms. The figure of 36 pounds has greatly exceeded the concept of many people. Wu Shen himself was stunned for a while. He hesitated for a while, but handed the sword over. Originally, he didn't dare to withdraw his hand, but when SI fucking picked it up easily, he stood on the other side holding the scabbard. Both hosts, male and female, were extremely nervous, for fear of making a mistake. The crew of Crossing the Devil were very calm. Tang Haikyu pushed his glasses and whispered with Mo Yishin, they don't even know that the sword used in the play is 50 pounds. That's it. Mo Yishin rubbed his shoulder. It caused me to think about that sword, and my whole body hurts. He was stabbed hundreds of times by SI fucking with his sword, and he knew very well how strong SI fucking's fighting scenes were. Oh, Tang Haikyu said slowly, you have to be thankful that you died miserably, or else the audience will throw eggs for you today. Mo Yishin. Acting too well is also a sin. At this time, in the center of the stage, all eyes were on SI fucking. SHH. She flipped her wrist bone and stabbed out the blade, a very neat sword move. After the long sword was turned in her right hand, it suddenly swept up into her left palm. Then she landed suddenly, her toes a little, and the sword returned to her hand again. She jumped up, leaned over, and stepped over to turn over, and the 36-pound heavy sword was as light as a feather in her hand. Every sword has the potential to be rock-shattering, stormy, like wind and electricity, and you can see after images when you are approaching. The beauty of this kind of fierce killing came from the surface, as if to cut a person's throat. This is a live demo without any special effects. All rumors are broken. The audience was stunned. I'm blind, I can't even lift it, she's turning so easily. I almost forgot that she is a ruthless person who can knot a python with her bare hands. So I thought a lot of them were special effects, but they're not. Brothers, she is really good at martial arts, I cracked. But that's not much. I saw Si fucking raised his hand, and the long sword let go. Chong. At a distance of 5 meters, the long sword was sheathed again, and it was not less than an inch tight. The martial artist with the scabbard was stupid. In the next second, she suddenly rose up into the air, turned 7 somersaults in a row, and finally jumped again, actually performing a 720-degree rotation in mid-air, and then quietly landed. The gait is light, with no bulkiness at all. Si fucking's performance also told everyone that Via was just a decoration to her. The stage was dead silent. I learned so much and showed 2 tricks. Si fucking picked up the microphone again, I made everyone laugh. Audiences. This TM called 2 tricks. Isn't this a dimensionality reduction blow? The netizens watching online were also completely broken, and they started to sew and mend with difficulty. If I hadn't hanged her, she would have really flown away, you know. I said that among the female stars under the age of 30, Si fucking joked that the number 1 is no problem. Be bold, stars under the age of 30 are obviously not good enough for men in the past, male actors had to have good manners, and they could even turn the gook and now they need to use special effects to turn a sword, it's a play for others, but it's rehabilitation training for you. It used to be called an actor, but now it's a star, isn't it different? Who said that inner entertainment can't turn swords, even girls can turn around? I also want to be held by the goddess Si when the princess of the demon clan, I will kowtow to this pair of CPS. No substitutes for literary dramas, no special effects for martial arts dramas, Si fucking gives me fire. The male host finally let go of his heart, and quickly entered the second topic. Mr. Si only picked the heroine in the first drama, we all admire it very much, what does Mr. Si want to do to those who like you? The words said. I know that there are some fans, you all came to me from the second issue of Youth. Si fucking smiled at the camera, I'm sorry that I was not very good at that time, and you were wronged. Thank you for being with you all the way. I can finally tell you that I can be your pride. 80% of the audience under the stage are mooses, and there are indeed many old fans. Hearing this sentence, the circles of his eyes were a little red. They watched Si fucking go from being a black person on the internet to being a top-ranking god. Outsiders look very glamorous along the way, only they know what Si fucking has paid. Even though there are still many black fans, their team is gradually growing. They can be her hard armor. As an actor, the first duty is to take the film seriously. Si fucking raised his eyebrows and smiled again, if one day I retreat for a year and a half, don't miss me too much, just wait for me to return. After the show, the hot search on the entertainment list was occupied again. Hashtag Si fucking, play hashtag. Hashtag Si fucking, you can turn anything hashtag. Many netizens commented below that let her take more costume dramas to save the current TV series. They don't want to see special effects anymore. Lone Walk, a drama that has been warming up for a year, soon no one cares. The crew's desire to gain popularity also came to nothing. Not only did the studio save on public relations costs, but Si fucking also successfully attracted a wave of fans. To celebrate, she bought an extra bottle of Coke. You've also drawn a lot of hatred. Sang Yanking pressed his head, this time not only was hostile to other female star teams, but also offended a group of male stars. With Si fucking holding a sword on stage to fight today, netizens will also have higher requirements for other stars. In this way, other stars who use special effects simply have no way to live. Offend, Si fucking unscrewed a bottle of Coke and raised his eyebrows, this word is inappropriate for them, and it's not worth letting me offend them. The person I offend has to Yu Jian held her chin, her red lips twitched, and said, "You have to be able to make bombs anyway." Sang Yanking. She really wanted to ask what SI fucking did before. How can it rise to the bomb at every turn? Sang Yanking left numbly. I think there are a lot of people in the entertainment industry chasing you. Yu Jian raised an eyebrow. You are really blooming. This means that your destiny is approaching, so you don't want to fall in love. Everyone has a righteousness. It is said that before the positive relationship appears, the peach blossoms will also follow. But no matter how many peach blossoms, it cannot affect the status of Zhen Yuan. Ah. No, SI fucking raised her head from the script, she clenched her fists. I just want to make money, money is my lover. Tsukishima. She tried her best. In some respects, their little sisters can be said to be rotten wood that cannot be carved. On the other side, the Li family. Second Master Li was leaning on the reclining chair, smoking a cigarette very comfortably. The butler hurried in and whispered a few words in his ear. How did they find out about the Principality of Kalan Li? Li Yi's expression changed. It stands to reason that it is absolutely impossible for Li Yiji to know. The reason why he was able to quietly get Li Yiji's son out and throw it abroad was because of the help of an Onmyoji. Onmyoji completely cut off the blood connection between Li Yiji and his son. In other words, even if the father and son face each other face to face, they cannot have any blood closeness to each other. I couldn't find it, and I couldn't feel it when I met it. Li Yiji couldn't take anyone out on the street for a paternity test, and Mr. Li wouldn't allow this kind of thing that ruined the face of the Li family. Second Master Li has lived extremely comfortably these years, and he has long forgotten about Li Yiji, never caring about it at all. Who knew that Li Yiji would go to the Principality of Kalan Li? Second Master, even if the child is successfully retrieved, it is impossible to compare with President Li. The housekeeper lowered his voice. The Li group all rely on President Li, and take 10,000 steps back. If the child survives after coming down, what can you achieve in a foreign country for 20 years? That's right. Second Master Li nodded, but his eyes were gloomy. But I can't allow it to happen, and immediately send someone to the Principality of Kalan Li. I want Li Yiji's life. Once Li Yiji died, even if the child was really found, there was no way to confirm that it was the Li family. It is absolutely impossible for him to let Li Yiji's son come back and affect Li Yinshan's status. Guns are allowed in the Principality of Kalan Li, so Li Yiji died in a gun battle on the street. Who made Li Yiji not give up after all these years? You can't blame him for being ruthless. No more during the day. 0 o'clock burst. I have a lot of words in a chapter, and I don't divide chapters very much. Although the chapters are not as many as others, the number of words must be crushed. The usual update is twice that of other authors. Happy Dragon Boat Festival, everyone, watch this chapter for free. See you at 0, you can cast a monthly ticket for Ching Ching equal 3 equals. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 364. Hearing this sentence, the butler's expression changed, and he hesitated for a while. Will this hit the old man too much? Li Yu has been decadent for so many years, and according to the Li family's rules, he will be expelled from Sijukan. But Mr. Li is still reluctant to exile him to a sideline, and the Li group's dividends have not lost him. This is not in line with Mr. Li's always hard wrist. If he changed his son, Mr. Li would definitely not be so indulgent, which shows his preference for Li Yiji. Second Master Li has been secretly using eye drops over the years, which only made Master Li a little disappointed in Li Yu. Who told him to go to a foreign country? Li Yi smiled gloomily. The border of the Principality of Kalan Li is also at war. Can the old man manage it? The Li family can rank in the top 5 among the big and small families of the Great Xia Empire, but it is far from enough to look at the whole world. And the most important thing is that if he really finds his son back, he will use the method of reverse push. and sooner or later the incident will be revealed. Li Yi's eyes became more and more gloomy. You are sure that he will not tell the old man? Does the old man believe him or me? Yes, the butler finally made up his mind, this matter must be done well. Go. Second Master Li nodded, after this is done, your benefits will be indispensable. Thank you, Second Master. The housekeeper thought for a while, and then said, Mr. Li and that Miss Bai. When he gets tired of playing, he will change it himself. Second Master Li waved his hand indifferently, I have already decided on his wife, and I will let him take care of him when he is promoted to chairman. Bai Jingxi was just a plaything of Li Yanchen, he would never allow Li Yan to marry a daughter of a small family. Once Li Yanchen became the chairman of the Li group, other families would naturally marry their daughters over. The Bai family couldn't even rank in the 4 cities, so they couldn't bring any benefit to Li Yanchen at all, so Yi Li naturally disliked it. The housekeeper smiled, Second Master is wise, but that Miss Bai is a snobby person, so she has to beat her hard to prevent her from holding on to Mr. Li. I don't need you to remind me about this. Second Master Li was very contemptuous, of course I can't let her marry. But the most urgent task is to solve Li Yiji. He would never allow Li Yiji to come back from the Principality of Kalan Li alive. Second Master Li's eyes were gloomy, and he specially found a few killers on the dark web and paid a high amount of money. After doing all this, he lay back on the sofa and began to close his eyes to rest. On the other side, Ji Qinjiao just came out of Qinjun League and went to Guanghua Temple to offer incense. I have to deny that the incense of Guanghua Temple has indeed weakened a lot after Master Ming Deng passed away. Ji Qinjiao also knew that Master Ming Deng took care of Ji Qinggui, but there was no connection between her and Master Ming Deng. When Master Ming Lan dies, he also dies. After the incense, Ji Qinjiao was about to leave, but he was keenly aware of a line of sight. Her eyes were cold, her fingers were already clenched, and when she turned her head, she met the monk's bald head. The valuable cassock on the monk told her that this was the new host of Guanghua Temple. Ji Qinjiao let go of his hand, and his expression became respectful. After bowing for a while, he said, I don't know what master's advice is. Hey, you can't be a master of a female donor. The monk was a little embarrassed, the poor monk is not good at learning, and it is really a last resort to be pushed to the position of host. I just saw that you are concentrating on the Buddha and it is not easy to disturb, and dare to ask the donor and yes. Miss Ji's family. Ji Qinjiao was even more respectful, exactly. No wonder the monk pinched his fingers, your qi is draining, but it must have been your own volition, so there is no disorder, but your sister's qi is extremely chaotic, but this is not your own, it is left behind. Can't stop. Ji Qinjiao's expression changed greatly, Master is saying that my sister also stole others' luck. Amitabha the monk didn't say it directly, but sighed, this plundering of luck is more vicious than changing your life, and you can still save a life after changing your life. This plundering of luck comes to the end, the death of the owner of luck is considered light, and even the soul is not at peace. Ji Qinjiao took a deep breath, dare to ask the host, what is life changing? The poor monk has not seen it with his own eyes, but he has heard it from the master. The monk sternly said, the story goes like this, there is a family with a very good daughter, a cheerful person, and high grades, which is the pride of her parents. On the other hand, their neighbor's son was severely depressed, he didn't want to see people, and his body became fat because of hormones. But suddenly one day, this family's daughter suffered from depression and began to become fat and ugly, while the neighbor's son suddenly became fatter. I got better and got into my favorite university. Rao is a calm person like Ji Qinjiao, and his scalp is numb when he hears it. This is life-changing. The monk folded his hands together and said in a low voice, I got the immediate benefits, but I don't know how to do it against the family, and sooner or later there will be a backlash. It's just that he can't figure out who is helping Ji's family. It stands to reason that there are not many people who know the insidious method of plundering luck, and even fewer can succeed. Ji Qingjiao's eyes changed again. She began to recall the past. Ji Qinggui was 2 years younger than her, and she was not weak when she was born. She was born at full term. Until Ji Qinggui was 5 years old, he didn't know what happened, and his body suddenly turned down. But at that time, Ji Qinggui showed unprecedented talent, almost comparable to the ancient prodigy who wrote poetry at 5 years old and 7 steps in the book. Ji Qingjiao had also heard Ji Qinggui's name of genius many times, but he didn't think about it at all. If the monk hadn't said that, she would never have imagined that the talent Ji Qinggui showed was because she plundered the luck of others. "Master, do you know whose luck I stole?" Ji Qing shook his fingers. "Is there any way I can quickly return the luck to him?" The monk was surprised for a moment, then smiled before slowly opening his mouth. The poor monk figured out that the female donor should have already seen the real master. Ji Qingjiao was startled, as if he remembered something. His pupils shrank suddenly. "Dare to ask, master, is the person I'm looking for in Anken, Bizhu?" The monk smiled but said nothing. After chanting Amitabha Buddha again, he threw off his robes and left. Ji Qingjiao can be sure now. The original owner of Chi Luck was Sci-fi. She and Ji Qinggui are sisters, but they don't look that much alike. If Ji Qinggui and Sci-fi went out together, they would be called sisters by others. I'm afraid there is a relationship between luck and luck. Although she didn't know how Sci-fi's luck got to her, and she didn't know how to return all the luck on her body, she also had to go to Anken in Bizhu. Ji Qingjiao collected his thoughts and calmed himself down, then immediately left Guanghua Temple and went back to Qinjunmen to ask for leave. Bizhu, Anken. Years later, Ye Zhenmian's restaurant also resumed business. Because the restaurant is right next to many schools, the price is not high, and the quantity is large. After the reputation is out, more and more people come. Nian Yan would come to a small box in the restaurant to do his homework on weekends. He didn't call Lin Jiwan these days because he was still working hard to use his evolutionary abilities. These days at school he was frightened and worried that he would suddenly lose control and let out his wings. Nian Yan wrote a set of papers and was going to go out to get something to eat. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and there were not many people. He noticed that there was a guest in the innermost position, and there were at least 8 dishes on the table. There are also 2 mobile phone stands next to it. I don't know what I'm shooting, and I say a few words from time to time. "Mom, why does that person order so much? Can he eat it all by himself?" Nian Yan quietly pulled Ye Zhenmian. "I think he only eats 1 or 2 bites of each dish, and the rest of the time is taking pictures and talking. What a waste. I've reminded you several times." Ye Zhenmian was also helpless, but he insisted on ordering it, saying that if he didn't let him order it, he wouldn't take the guests seriously. He definitely won't be able to finish it in the end, and it doesn't look like he really came to eat. Nian Yan frowned. "Mom, you have to be careful." Ye Zhenmian nodded. It turns out that the young man who ordered 8 dishes did not eat much in the end. He ate 1 or 2 bites of each dish and spent most of the time talking to himself. He sat until 4:30, took a few pictures of the interior decoration of the restaurant, and then got up and walked outside. "This guest, you haven't paid the bill yet." The waiter stepped forward and was very polite. "The bill is paid at the front desk, or you can pay through the QR code on the table." "Pay the bill?" The young man stopped and was very surprised. "You asked me to pay the bill? Can't you? I came here to visit the store to give you face, and you asked me to pay the bill? Do you know that I send a Weibo advertisement fee? How many?" He advertised the store for free, and let him pay for it. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 365. He had never seen such a blind restaurant. Seeing the waiter stunned, the young man snorted lightly, and stretched out his hand to flick the dust off his clothes. "Go and call your boss, you can't be the waiter alone in this matter. The waiter really couldn't decide, so he had to go to Ye Zhenmian. You're the boss here, right? The young man raised his chin, looked arrogant, and took out a business card. You should have heard of my circle name. I'm De Huang and I'm hungry, a shop visiting blogger. My fans recommended your restaurant, so I came to check it out today. Ye Zhenmian was stunned for a moment, unable to understand, exploring the store. Huang Ninggui hummed in his nostrils. I went to other restaurants, but their boss didn't ask me to pay. Nian Yan, who followed Ye Zhenmian, laughed angrily when he heard this. What does it have to do with you being the blogger of the shop and not paying for your meal? He does know what a shop exploring blogger is. Recently this professional is very popular. The so-called shop visit means that bloggers go to a certain restaurant and share their experience on social accounts by shooting short videos, taking pictures, etc. Many internet celebrity restaurants are so popular. In the beginning, the business of visiting shop bloggers will follow their hearts and seek truth from facts. But later on, these shop exploring bloggers changed their tastes. They only praised if they gave money, and stepped on if they didn't. No wonder this young man has been talking to himself in front of the camera just now. Do you know how much my advertising fee is? Huang Ninggui frowned. Let me post a Weibo with at least 100,000 yuan, and I will give you free publicity. This meal costs 100,000 yuan. You don't need to publicize it, Nian Yan said lightly, it's only natural to pay for food. If you want to be a prostitute, don't be so high-sounding. Huang Ninggui's face flushed, and he was very angry. You are not the boss, and I don't have the same knowledge as you. He looked at Ye Zhenmian. Madam, it's like this, if you give me 8,000, I will properly promote your restaurant on my social account. With my popularity, you can make your restaurant win more money. Do you know Liuge? It was still a small restaurant at the beginning of last year, and now the traffic is huge every day. It's up to me to promote it. He is a shop exploring blogger with 5 million fans, and several social platforms are very popular. Any short video of his visit to the store has millions of views, and it will also bring extremely high benefits to the restaurant. It was too late for the restaurant owner to beg him to promote it. Come on, Huang Ninggui became impatient. I'm still waiting to go back and edit the video and post it on Weibo. Ye Zhenmian was about to say something when he was stopped by Nian Yan. He sneered, What, you are the head chef of a 3-star Michelin restaurant to give you advice? If you want us, we will give you a free order, but you are just a man who wants to eat overlord's meal. The white prostitute. Stop talking nonsense and pay quickly. What happened to the fans? His sister has 60 million fans, what did you say? At this time, many guests have come in one after another, and they all looked over curiously. Huang Ninggui's face was ashen, and it was even more painful. You, very good, I remember you. Small restaurant, you wait. He didn't have much face to spare, paid the payment immediately, and walked away bleak with his own shooting equipment. The waiter also breathed a sigh of relief and went to receive other guests. Mom, the internet is too developed now, and many new occupations have been born. Nian Yan turned around. Let's put up a sign at the door prohibiting live broadcasts, so as not to be disturbed again. He videotaped and took pictures like this, and violated the portrait rights of other guests, is illegal. Okay, Mom doesn't understand this, so I'll listen to you. Ye Zhenmian nodded, very relieved. Ayan has grown up and can share her worries. This is extortion, you have to be careful in the future, Nian Yan urged. These people have many tricks, don't be deceived. Mom understands. Ye Zhenmian patted him on the shoulder. Go and do your job, I'll make a sweet and sour fish to make up for you. Nian Yan nodded and returned to his small box. He thought for a while, still a little worried, and sent a message to Sci-fi. Sister Ching Ching, if I cause trouble, will you support me? Sci-fi replied quickly. See who is at fault. If it is your fault, you must apologize if the other party is at fault, treat it according to the seriousness of the matter. Of course, if someone bullies you, I will be responsible. With these words, Nian Yi was relieved. He decided to write 2 sets of math papers to celebrate. Sci-Fucking is reading the script in the studio. These days, in addition to drawing new design drawings for Gu Wenzu and answering game technical questions for the Wuzhu team, she has been studying the script from morning to night. Sang Yanking felt distressed and wanted her to rest more. Sci-Fucking refused. The role of Zhang Ziyu is indeed difficult to play. Even if she can return to the Great Xia dynasty to meet Zhang Ziyu, she should have thoroughly studied the life of this female general before meeting. But today she received a phone call that surprised her. Sci-Fucking glanced at the caller ID and paused. "Mr. Zhang." "It's me, Miss Si is well." Zhang Shuiyan smiled. "The lady and the leader also watched your variety show a few days ago." Mu Kingman's body has been conditioned by Sci-Fucking in the past few months, his heart has completely recovered, and his physique is stronger than before. Sci-Fucking nodded. "Say hello to Aunt Mu and Uncle Xiao for me." Naturally Zhang Shuiyan's smile deepened. "The Qinjun League is open to Miss Si at any time. I take the liberty to ask a question." Sci-Fucking was silent for a moment and asked, "Is Mr. Zhang a descendant of the Zhang family?" Zhang Shuiyan was stunned, apparently not expecting that she would ask such a question, but quickly replied, "Forget it, my ancestor is indeed a member of the Zhang family, but only a sideline. After all, there is no one left in the Zhang Haiping family. I'm going to star in a TV series related to Zhang Ziyu." Sci-Fucking, "Maybe I will ask Mr. Zhang for advice at that time." "I'm happy to help," Zhang Shuiyan replied. "I was entrusted to find Miss Si today. I don't know if Miss Si still remembers Miss Ji Qinjiao. She has a very important matter to come to you, please let me tell you in advance." "Take the liberty to interrupt." "Miss Qinjiao." Sci-Fucking was deeply surprised. She narrowed her eyes. "I remember, I'm in the studio, you can ask her to come to me directly." "Then I will trouble Miss Si." Zhang Shuiyan smiled again. "She is introverted and indifferent because of her growing environment. If she is wrong, Miss Si should not take it to heart." After the call ended, he turned his head and looked at Ji Qinjiao. "Miss Si is very nice, don't have any burdens for you to go." "Thank you Zhang team." Ji Qinjiao clasped his fists. "I still need to go home first." "Go." Zhang Shuiyan nodded and smiled. "If there is anything, just mention it, Qinjunmen is your home." Ji Qinjiao's expression was shocked. This sentence carries too much weight. This is the Thousand Army Alliance. There are more than 100,000 members of the Qinjun League, and she has come up step by step from the bottom, but she knows that she is too far away from the top strength of the Qinjun League. But Zhang Shuiyan was able to say such a thing to her. Ji Qinjiao's eyes were a little sour for the first time. She clasped her fists and bowed again, her voice hoarse. "This subordinate will definitely live up to the expectations of Team Zhang, and will definitely serve De Xia faithfully." This time, it was Zhang Shuiyan's turn to be stunned. A few seconds later, when Ji Qinjiao had left, he turned his head. "I didn't seem to mention this just now, did I?" The team member who was asked was stunned. "Ah. No, no." Zhang Shuiyan sighed. "This girl is proud of herself, but it's a pity that Ji family." Fortunately, Ji Qinjiao grew up in Qinjun League since he was a child, with a pure mind, and was not raised by Ji's family. She has an excellent temperament, and she is not allowed to be a man. Even if her talent is not the best, she is worthy of being cultivated. That MRSG was so embarrassed to come to us to find her the day before yesterday, saying that Miss GER hasn't seen her for a long time and let her go back. Forget her. In normal times, where do they remember that they still have a daughter? As a result, their players' sense of Ji Qinggui plummeted. Zhang Shuiyan hummed lightly. "I'll find it later, and I will say it's not there. Here." Ji Qing shook out of the Qinjun League and immediately took the car to the airport. In her spare time while waiting for the flight, she opened Weibo, habitually preparing to brush up on Sci-Fi's latest news, when she suddenly saw a familiar name in the hot search bar. Hashtag Ting and Restaurant hashtag. Ji Kinjeo remembered that it was opened by Sci-Fi's aunt. Last year, at Sci-Fi's birthday party, she was fortunate enough to follow Mu Qingmen here. Although the restaurant is not luxurious, it is fresh and natural, which makes people very comfortable. But Sci-Fi has never disclosed this restaurant to the public, so why did it suddenly become a hot search? Ji Kinjeo clicked to take a look. Hiding is a Weibo post by a food blogger. At V, to avoid thunder for everyone, don't go to this restaurant called Ting, and when you travel to Angkor the restaurant is not big and deceives customers, the price is very low. I even went to the kitchen to take a few pictures. In the photo, the spider webs are all over the place, and the ingredients are not washed when they fall on the floor, they are directly picked up and used. I have to expose this unscrupulous restaurant. Don't be deceived. Many people say that this restaurant tastes good. It is 80% likely that it has poppy shells. I have already contacted my friends at the Food Safety Bureau. Thoroughly investigated. Boycott Tingen, start with me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 366. Huang Ninggui has 5 million fans and shares his daily routine of visiting the store every day. His looks can score 7 points, and he can make up, attracting many girls, and the traffic on Weibo is higher than that of ordinary starlets. As soon as this Weibo was posted, retweets and comments went up. I still want to go to this restaurant, the kitchen is too dirty, isn't it? Is this edible? How many bacteria are there? Lightning has been avoided. I have never seen rhubarb with such a big fire. I have been a fan of rhubarb for several years. Every time I visit a store, rhubarb will give advantages and disadvantages. This is the first time he has criticized a store. The mess in the kitchen can no longer be tolerated, and you even put poppy shells in the dishes. No wonder it's so delicious. I don't dare to eat it in the future. I must report it. Boycott Tingen restaurant. This unscrupulous restaurant should be banned. It's so disgusting that this restaurant is still being pushed by people who are conscientiously pushing this kind of garbage restaurant. Vomit. Fans were outraged. When it comes to food safety, passers-by and netizens also spontaneously began to boycott it. Ji Kinjeo frowned. She didn't know Huang Ninggui, a food blogger, nor the shady scene in the shop, but she believed in Sci-Fi. Seeing that the popularity of this Weibo was getting higher and higher, and more people resisted, Ji Kinjeo immediately sent a private message to Sci-Fi studio. There was nothing she could do but fight back at the remarks that were too unbearable. When it was time to check in soon, Ji Kinjeo got on the plane and turned on the flight mode, but he was very nervous along the way. How on earth should she tell Sci-Fi about plundering luck? It's no wonder that Sci-Fi was hacked by the whole network before, and I'm afraid he was robbed because of his luck. An hour and a half later, the plane arrived at Anzong International Airport. Ji Kinjeo took a few breaths slowly, and then went to Sci-Fi studio according to the address Zhang Shuiyan gave her. The studio is not in the city, but outside the Third Ring Road, there is a 6-story apartment building. Sci-Fi is also very good to his subordinates, including food and shelter. Ji Kinjeo knocked on the door a little hesitantly, and the door opened in response. But she hesitated not to go in. Come on, take a seat. Sci-Fi pointed to the single-seat sofa opposite him, with a very skilled tone. Everyone else has gone out, no one else, so don't be cautious. Ji Kinjeo was stunned for a while, only to realize that it was obviously work time, but no one else was in the studio. She pursed her lips and walked in. Mr. Zhang said you have something very important to contact me. Sci-Fi closed the script and nodded. What's wrong? I'm here to apologize. Ji Kinjao knelt down suddenly, her voice was difficult. I'm sorry, Miss Si, I also learned that I used your luck, your body. The monk said that whether it was changing his life or forcibly plundering his luck, it would have an irreversible impact on the original owner. The point of life changing is to change, so there is still a life left. But to plunder luck, that is to rob people's lives, naturally it is to be completely squeezed. She naturally knew that Sci-fucking was in poor health before, and he gained weight because of hormone stimulation of the body caused by taking medicine. Ji Kinjao didn't dare to imagine what it would be like if Sci-fucking's luck was really plundered. It's not your fault, you don't know. Sci-fucking's eyes changed. She immediately stepped forward to help Ji Kinjao up. Get up, there is gold under your knees, you can't kneel. Ji Kinjao lowered his hand and clenched his fingers, but I took your luck. I said, you don't know about this. Sci-fucking patted her on the shoulder, and come to me as soon as you know, you are really nice. I took something that didn't belong to me, so naturally I have to find the owner. Ji Kinjao clasped his fists, and she smiled bitterly, it's just that I really don't know how to return my luck to you. Sci-fucking raised his head and smiled, don't worry, you voluntarily return it, your willpower is very strong, and you have almost exchanged it back, so don't have too much mental burden. Hearing this sentence, Ji Kinjao breathed a sigh of relief, and her expression was firm. The master said that my sister also has your luck, and I will let her return it to you when I go back. Sci-fucking said lightly, maybe not everyone is like you. Ji Kinjao was startled. The assessment of the Kinjun League is coming again, right? Sci-fucking raised his eyebrows, you haven't practiced in the past 20 years, and your physical fitness is very good. Even if my luck is gone, it won't affect you too much. Big. But because I haven't encountered the calamity of life and death, the moves are still not ruthless. I can teach you a few moves, can you learn them? Hearing this sentence, Ji Kinjao's pupils shrank suddenly. Miss Si, you. Sci-fucking was able to disregard the past, she was already very happy, and she was willing to teach her? Thinking back to the swordsmanship that Sci-fucking performed on the spot that day, it was indeed not a pretense. Only an expert can see that the sharp blade in Sci-fucking's hand can really kill people. Ji Kinjao was a martial idiot, and his eyes lit up. Miss Si, please enlighten me. Well, come. Sci-fucking beckoned, let's go to the yard. Ji Kinjao followed immediately. Shanglu was exercising in the yard. When he saw the two of them, after greeting them, he left the studio building with a wink and went for a run outside. There is no sword here now, let's break a branch into a sword. Sci-fu folded two branches and handed one of them to Ji Kinjao. Miss Si. Ji Kinjao took it, suddenly remembered another important thing, and his voice was eager. Someone slandered your aunt's restaurant as unsanitary on the internet, and said that the dishes were filled with poppy shells. Sci-fucking narrowed his eyes, slander. Yes, when I saw it, the retweets had exceeded 5,000. Ji Kinjao took out his mobile phone, the situation is very bad. Just then, the phone rang, it was Zhang Changning. Sisi, have you seen the hot searches on your restaurant? Zhang Changning frowned, that food blogger has 5 million followers, and his influence is not low. It has always been easier to spread rumors than to refute them. Even if the evidence is in front of them, netizens have a preconceived impression, but they are not so concerned about refuting rumors. 5 million fans. Sci-fucking also saw the screen of the mobile phone that Ji Kinjao handed over, and clicked his tongue, that's amazing. She really never thought of using her marketing power and star power in the entertainment industry to promote Ye Zhenmian's restaurant. Otherwise, the music core alone would be enough to fill the Ting'an restaurant. But this does not mean that there are internet celebrities who can slander Ye Zhenmian's efforts at will. The hot search has reached the 14th place in the total list, and Huang Ninggui's Weibo comment has exceeded 80,000. All of them are blaming Ting'an restaurant. Okay, I get it. Sci-fucking laughed softly, My aunt doesn't surf the internet, so she probably doesn't know yet. I'll check the surveillance records at that time. After the call was over, she tapped a few times on her phone, edited a Weibo post and posted it, and circled the ID at. After sending it, she picked up the branch again and called Last G Kinjao, go, take 2 strokes. At this time, Huang Ningui was resting in his villa. He glanced at the number of retweets on his latest Weibo and the boycotted comments below, and snorted coldly. If he loses face, he will make Tingan's restaurant unable to open. With his fan base, let a small restaurant go out of business with ease. However, in the comments of the boycott, it was not without Tingan's old customers who questioned. But their doubts were quickly submerged in the comments of Huang Ningui's fans. Fans scolded these old customers as the leg hair of Tingan restaurant, empathized with capitalists, and did not know how to protect the rights and interests of customers. The Weibo accounts used by these old customers are also private accounts. He doesn't have as many fans and less influence than him. There is no use at all. Huang Ningui didn't care about these customers at all. He drank red wine leisurely, waiting for the person in charge of Tingan restaurant to come and beg him. That stinky brat made him lose face at the time, and he destroyed their restaurant. Deserved. Huang Ningui sneered. If he had given him a free bill, he would definitely have praised Tingan restaurant on his Weibo. Unfortunately, some people were so ignorant that they dared to say that he was a prostitute for nothing. He couldn't swallow it. Huang Ningui was not at all afraid of the real customers of Tingan restaurant refuting him. The internet is a mixed place, and many netizens have no opinion and judgment, and will only be led away by him. In the circle of food exploration shop bloggers, they also know each other. Huang Ningui had already greeted several other food explorer bloggers. Unless Tingan restaurant came to ask him, he would not talk. There is no channel, and there are not enough fans, but he wants to see how Tingan restaurant shows him. Huang Ningui finished drinking a glass of wine and swiped on Weibo again, frowning. Because he found that the number of retweets in his message column was increasing exponentially. Huang Ningui suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. He immediately clicked on the forwarding column. The number of retweets is still rising, but it is not because his Weibo breaking circle has increased again. Instead, a new Weibo circled his name, so every time it was forwarded, he would be reminded once, and the message reminder sounded one after another. This forwarding speed is much faster than his own Weibo. Huang Ningui's fingers trembled, he clicked on Weibo with his name, and saw the blogger's name at a glance. When the red top stream, Sci fucking. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 367. When Huang Ningui saw the name, his expression changed. Internet celebrities also want to squeeze into the entertainment industry and make more money. Sci fucking is a top-notch drama, how could he not know Sci fucking's name? But why did Sci fucking suddenly circle his ID name? Did you see the restaurant he recommended? Huang Ningui was overjoyed and immediately read the content of Weibo carefully. At V, there are more and more whore and whoring these days, paying for meals is justified, you visit the shop blogger, are you superior? If you are a 3-star Michelin chef, it is not impossible to give you a free order, but what are you, a low-level internet celebrity who is full of lies, wants to eat the garbage of Ba Wang's meal, really feel like he is a god. In addition, my restaurant, I want to promote it early, I don't need you, 5 million fans are so arrogant, what did I say? Well, you said that you have poppy shells. Your Weibo forwarding has exceeded 500. It is a serious rumor. For the sake of my family's reputation, I will sue you directly. Please be prepared to receive a lawyer's letter. There is also a surveillance video below this Weibo. It was Huang Ningui who went to Tingan restaurant yesterday, forcibly asked Ye Zhenmian to give him a free bill, and boasted that his Weibo advertisement cost 100,000 yuan, and publicizing it to Ting'an restaurant was self-deprecation. As long as Ye Zhenmian gave him a free bill, he would promote it well, and said that many restaurants gave him 18,000 yuan, begging him to help attract customers. Sci-Fi's influence is not comparable to that of Huang Ninggui, an internet celebrity. It can be said that there is no star who is more popular than her. After all, Crossing the Devil has just ended, and it is very hot, and the birth of a staff is also in full swing. And she rarely tweets. The last Weibo was the New Year's Eve dinner. If it wasn't for the studio's daily routine, the mooses would have been suffocated long ago. Sci-Fi finally posted a Weibo, and the mooses started to go around frantically, and only started to read it after finishing it. My wife still has a restaurant at home. It's too good to hide. I cried. It was just outside the gate of my school. I went to eat several times. I didn't know it was opened by my goddess. I'm guilty. Who is this rhubarb hungry again? I've never heard of it before, so why is it worthy of being named by my wife in person? This rhubarb is hungry again. I know, the blogger of the internet celebrity search shop. He used to seriously comment, to tell the truth, after the fire, it will float. Speaking badly, I haven't watched his short videos for a long time, and I don't know where he got so many fans. So this time is the same trick again. The face of this man in the video is so disgusting, I'm dying of laughter. Isn't this a direct kick to the iron plate, showing off that he has 5 million fans? He did not expect that the restaurant owner's niece has 60 million fans. Sci-Fi is too low-key. Other celebrities can't wait to write on their faces when they open restaurants, and those restaurants don't taste very good, and the prices are very expensive. I have been to this restaurant in Ting'an, and the price is very high, especially the proprietress. The food I cook is super delicious. Musie's combat power has long been tempered in the battle against black fans. Sci-Fi's black fan army can be said to be the largest in the entertainment industry. Fans of other stars have been beaten down long ago, but the more frustrated they are, the more courageous they are. The mooses who paid attention to Huang Ninggui took off the customs directly. The remaining fans of Huang Ninggui were not the opponents of the mooses at all, and were beaten to the point of being unable to fight back. Not to mention, Sci-Fi posted surveillance. This is strong evidence, much more powerful than Huang Ninggui's Weibo to spread rumors. In just 10 minutes, Huang Ninggui lost 500,000 followers. This is all live powder. It can be seen how great the influence of Sci-Fi is. Huang Ninggui was completely panicked. He never thought that the Ting'an restaurant was actually opened by Sci-Fi's house. There are indeed many celebrities who open restaurants, but which celebrity opens a restaurant and does not publicize it? The star power is not covered. If you just promote it, countless fans will come here, and the turnover will be there, and you don't need to waste time and effort. Is Sci-Fi so low-key? If he knew that it was a restaurant run by Sci-Fi's family and gave him 100 courage, he wouldn't dare to threaten Ye Zhenmian with those words. It is true that his 5 million fans are already quite a lot, but in front of Sci-Fi, it is a joke. What the hell did he do? Looking at the increasing number of comments and retweets, Huang Ninggui's cold sweat broke down all of a sudden, and his back was shivering with chills. With trembling hands, he immediately deleted Weibo. But it was too late, and major marketing accounts had already taken screenshots to criticize his behavior. Huang Ninggui has used this routine many times, but after repeated use, he has won many times. Those restaurant owners also complained and couldn't help him. Huang Ninggui never thought that he would overturn such a big car by repeating his old tricks this time. That is Sci-Fi. Tong Luyun, an actress who met her, didn't get any advantage, but he actually. The cold sweat on Huang Ninggui's body had soaked through his clothes. Before he could react, his phone flashed frantically. Many food brands have stopped working with him. and because it is the other party's breach of contract, it must also compensate the brand's reputation loss. Not only that, his agency also directly chose to terminate the contract with him. After Huang Ninggui answered all the calls, his nerves collapsed. He is the top group in the field of food bloggers, and he didn't expect him to fall overnight. Not even a chance to make a comeback. Huang Ninggui glanced at Weibo. His followers had dropped to 4 million, and they were still dropping. He covered his face, an emotion called remorse flooding his heart. If he could be given another chance, he would never do it. But he knew it was too late. It's over. Sci-fucking studio is here. For an entire hour, Sci-fucking was teaching Ji Kinjao the moves against the enemy. Ji Kinjao also studied very seriously. It's dinner time. Sci-fucking stepped back and stood up straight. I'm going to see my aunt, do you want to come with me? It's too much trouble. Ji Kinjao hesitated, and was rarely shy. Can I practice here by myself? She could feel that the tricks Sci-fucking taught her were more effective than the time she spent in Kinjun League. Of course Sci-fucking called Shanglu back, you can learn from each other. Hearing a fight, Shanglu ran over. Sci-fucking waved his hand and left. Shanglu and Ji Qingyao had a fight. In the end, it ended with the victory of Shanglu. Miss Ji is amazing, you have made such rapid progress, Shanglu exclaimed. You are expected to reach the 8th level this year, come on. Ji Kinjao showed a rare smile. I borrowed the good words from brother Shang. Miss Si is really nice. Shanglu nodded. You and her are considered acquaintances, what do you think of her? Ji Kinjao thought about it and said honestly, I'm very fond of fans. Pampered a little too much. She was embarrassed and didn't know how to repay. Miss Si is very fond of fans. Shanglu laughed. How do you pet you? Ji Kinjao didn't hide it, and told the story of how Sci-fucking taught her the moves. Shanglu. He is also a fan, and he is an old fan, why is he not treated like this? It's not fair. Shanglu sent Ji Kinjao to the hotel with a bitter face, and then returned to the studio. Sci-fucking also came back and continued to read the script. He endured it, but he couldn't help it, but he still asked, Miss Si, why don't you spoil my fan so much? Sci-fucking didn't look up, do you have her as cute and beautiful? Shanglu was taken aback, no. Although Ji Kinjao has not yet obtained a position in the Kinjun League, but because there are very few women in the league, Ji Kinjao is also good looking, and many people are chasing her. Sci-fucking said, is she soft? Shanglu, nothing. How is he so soft? Sci-fucking smiled, then why do I spoil you so much? Shanglu. I'm worried. He can only improve by being hit. This is female over male. By the way, I can teach you a few tricks. Sci-fucking held his chin, my game cabin has arrived, I need to trouble you to help me install it. Shanglu immediately got excited, no problem. On the other hand, Sang Yanking also confirmed with director Lu about Sci-fucking's role in The Girl of the Town. Just wait for Sci-fucking to finish reading the script, and the official audition starts. This news was not deliberately concealed, and several big names in Sci-fucking Chao's words also knew that the media in the circle quickly got the news. Where there is Sci-fucking, there is heat, which can impact K-Pi. Today's revelations, after 0-0, Xiahua's new cakes fight to see who is better? Picture. The picture lists the upcoming TV dramas of 5 post-0-0 stars, including Sci-fucking. Sci-fucking, Girls of the Town, filming is expected to start in June. Song Wenhua, Walking Alone, filming is expected to start in May. The remaining 3 people seemed a little underwhelmed in front of these 2 main dramas. Female General. Dreams come true everyone. The second drama is the main drama, the career fans are flying ha 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 ha. I laughed. Sci-fucking's fans elementary school students, I don't know who the Zhenguo female general is, right, Do you know Zhang Ziyu's achievements? I fucking wouldn't think that if he played a fictional female god of war in the three realms, he could really think that he was a goddess of war, and would he be able to touch the historical figures of porcelain? Playing Zhang Ziyu, are you worthy? After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 368. Historical fans have always been crazy, and when they become crazy, the brainless fans of traffic stars can't stop it. After all, the history book is so big, it is impossible to detail it. Everyone's historical figures are different. Especially for heroes who have left a strong mark on the history books, the controversy is huge, and a small issue can be a huge quarrel. Such as Zhang Ziyu, Zhang Haiping, Zhang Suanjian, and more like Emperor Yin. Contributions are as great as Emperor Yin, and there are still a large number of black fans, including several historians. It is nothing more than saying that he was brutal, beheading thousands of filthy officials. Said that he was cold-blooded, that the prisoner's father killed his brother and got his position wrong. Said that he disregarded the life and death of the people, and insisted on fighting to stop fighting, killing to stop killing, and the war was full of fire. When money is not liked, let alone people. But the news that Si fucking was going to play Zhang Ziyu really set off the circle of historical fans. Almost all the opposition, no one is optimistic. No, Zhang Ziyu, do you dare to play Zhang Ziyu? Boycott this drama. Don't broadcast it even if you shoot it, don't want to watch it. I want to see how Si fucking plays Zhang Ziyu, to be honest, there is no female star to match. I also advise the screenwriter not to add any bloody emotional lines to the play. Zhang Ziyu is a heroine of the country, and adding a bunch of romantic scenes is an insult to her. Warm reminder, the last actor who played Zhang Suanjin was already confused. Can you not touch the historical figures of porcelain? These stars all want to suck the blood of historical figures, and they are really convinced who is Zhang Ziyu. He was in command at the age of 18 and fought against the enemy on the battlefield when you were 18, you didn't even go to high school. This scene is what both Sang Yanqing and the crew of Girls of the Town expected. Even if Yun Lan comes back to play this role, there will still be a lot of historical fan abuse before filming. Sang Yanqing was worried that the online remarks would affect Si fucking, so she made a special call. If you are a history fan on the internet, don't take it to heart. You have the strength. As long as we take it with heart, word of mouth will be there. The harder you press it, the harder it will bounce back. Sang Yanqing is looking forward to Zhang Ziyu played by Si fucking. Sister Sang, don't worry. Si fucking browse lazily, I'll know when I see her. Sang Yanqing. WTF. Sang Yanqing paused. Oh, her tomb is indeed in Bazhu, you may go and see, maybe you will get inspiration. When the call ended, Si fucking put the phone aside. She moved her body a bit, and then she lay down into the installed game cabin. The door is closed, and the device connects to brain waves. The familiar game beep sounds. Welcome, S009. Login in progress. Welcome to Eternal Continent, your account level has been capped and you can act at will. Si fucking first went to the Ghost Valley for a turn, and found that the old man, the master of the Ghost Valley, was not there. She looked at her friend list. There are only 4 people in the friend list. Ji Xingzi was added by him shamelessly. The remaining 3 people, Ye Wanlin and Lu Qingning, will never be online again. Yu Huixiu is also offline, and she doesn't know when she will log in. Si fucking lowered her eyelashes, and then she entered the return gift package given to her by the game system. The next second, she only felt a gust of wind blowing in front of her, and after a moment of weightlessness, her vision became clear again. Welcome to the Great Xia Dynasty and start a journey through time and space. Looking for an identity suitable for the player, looking for, after the search is complete, the player's appearance has been modified, and the costume cannot be removed. The player is prohibited from changing the history, and the player's actions will be restricted when necessary. Player level has been limited, currently level 10. The initial level of a player is level 10. Being limited to this level, let alone using the power of yin and yang and the 5 elements, even ordinary fighting is difficult. Sci-fucking was expressionless. What a rubbish game. But she also knew that the game system was not meant to let her change history. On this point, Sci-fucking was also very cautious. After all, even a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a huge storm. She first looked at her outfit, and then touched her chest. Flat. At the same time, the mechanical sound of the game system sounds. Hint: your current identity is a male military strategist who died before your arrival. The system simulates his appearance for you. The change of appearance will not affect the gender of the player himself. I wish you a happy time and space journey of Sci-fucking. Her fists hardened. Picked her identity for so long, pick this one? Forget it, she never had any hope for dog games. Sci-fucking was in a trance when the curtain of the military tent was lifted. A general came in. Counselor, he saw her sitting up, with a look of surprise on his face. The strategist is indeed alive. The medicine of the Divine Doctor Alliance is very useful. Sci-fucking still didn't know where she was, so he was a little stunned. The Alliance of Magical Doctors. But the general is still not feeling well. The general was worried. Several gentlemen from the Divine Medicine Alliance concluded that the general was only breathing, but he didn't expect the general to survive. Did not bother. Said that if the military division is awake, please go to him, the marshal has something important to support. Sci-fucking tried the remaining strength on his body. It was a little weak, but it didn't affect his walking. She got up and slowly said, "I'll be right here." The general was very happy. The marshal will be very happy if he sees that the military division is safe. The military division is really lucky, and he has survived such a serious injury. Sci-fucking followed him out of the tent, pondering while checking the surrounding environment. In the 2,000-year history of the Great Xia dynasty, there were many soldiers and warriors in command. But only one person can afford the title of Marshal of the Township. Zhang Haiping. Zhang Haiping, who is full of loyalty and loyalty. The last time she saw him in the imperial capital Yangon. It seems that this time she first came to the battlefield in Bizhu. Soon Sci-fucking followed the general to the main account. Zhang Haiping, in armor, was lying in front of the desk, not knowing what he was writing. After hearing the footsteps, he raised his head, got up and welcomed Sci-fucking into the tent in person. Fortunately, the military advisor is still there, otherwise I would feel uneasy. From the conversation with the general, Sci-fucking also knew that the strategist she is now playing had been severely injured by the barbarians. Zhang Haiping immediately asked the accompanying gentleman of the Doctors' Alliance to heal her, completely ignoring the sword wound on her body. It's a pity that the soldier's life was not saved, and she came right after. Sci-fucking clenched his fists. The marshal is so kind, my subordinates dare not forget it. What do you say? I want to protect you. Zhang Haiping laughed, and after a few seconds, the smile faded. I should have given you a rest for a while, but time waits for no one. Now I invite you to come, please take care of the people of Yanmen. Sci-fucking's expression froze. This is the famous Battle of Yanmen in the history of the Great Xia dynasty. The barbarians assembled an army of 300,000 troops to the north, trying to capture Yanmen, which was recaptured by Daxia. And because the other parties were also suffering from the war, Yanmen was isolated and helpless. In this battle, Jiang's army lost 48,000 casualties, and Zhang Haiping was unable to return. She actually came directly after 4 years. Isn't that Emperor Yin already 18 years old? I have to stop the 300,000 army of the barbarians. Zhang Haiping said lightly, I can't let one of them step into Yanmen. Sci-fucking's throat tightened. What does the marshal want me to do? In addition to the people in the city, there is one more thing to ask for. I have a daughter, Xiaozizayu. Zhang Haiping stroked his beard and smiled, I haven't seen her for a long time. Bring these things to her. He pointed to a box on the case. There are all kinds of jewelry in it, from longevity locks for children to step-swinging hostas for cardamom years. I could see at a glance that this was not collected in a few days. It was Zhang Haiping who had been fighting outside for so many years, and prepared little by little. He originally wanted to send Zhang Ziyu to marry in person. Too bad he didn't see it. It's a pity that he didn't know that the future Zhang Ziyu died in battle with him on a piece of land. Not only Sang Yanqing, but even Chu Lingyun felt that she took the risk of taking on the drama girls of the town, and she would ruin her reputation if she was not careful. But history should not be forgotten. This is the reason why she took up the drama girls of the town. But it turns out that any show is just pediatrics compared to real history. Looked at these cheap but hard-working gadgets, only to feel that his chest was blocked by sourness, and he couldn't breathe. If the marshal changes his path, he can be reunited with Miss is only 7 years old this year. No change. Zhang Haiping put his hands on his back and looked at the desert outside the account. He said lightly, I am the Marshal of Daxia first, and I am her father. I am sorry for her, but I am not Method. What he has to bear on his shoulders is the lives of hundreds of millions of people in Bizhu. If he retreats, the borderland is conquered by the barbarians, and the barbarians go north to Zhongzhou, and the Magia government city has not been built yet, and the consequences will be unimaginable. Shook his fingers. The Marshal can wait for His Majesty must have a solution. Your Majesty's enemies are even more difficult to face. You may not know that Your Majesty was seriously injured while facing the enemy a while ago, and he still did not stop. Zhang Haiping's side. This time, the barbarian troops are divided into two groups, one from the west and the other from the west. The north invades, and there are princes in the west who defect, so His Majesty wants to guard the west. How to get out? Si's heart trembled. Yes, the enemy that Emperor Yin faces is even more dangerous. No one was sure that the fight would be won, but they still went. Because if you don't fight now, you will fight in the future. She moved her eyelashes and said softly, the Marshal knows that when you go, you will never come back. Zhang Haiping was stunned for a moment, and suddenly burst into laughter. The laughter was the frivolity and unrestrainedness of Marshal Zhenqiu, then go away and never return. He held the silver long spear next to him, full of arrogance. Even if I am a single gun, old man, I will not let them take a step into Yanmen. Master, I'll leave the rest to you. Zhang Haiping stood up abruptly and put on his helmet. After this battle, his barbarian vitality was severely damaged, and he did not dare to act rashly for a year. I will fight for His Majesty. Time to calm down the civil unrest. Followed him out. On the school grounds outside, 48,000 Zhang family troops have gathered. All of them are strong and brave. Glanced at it and found that some of the soldiers had gray hair, but they still had their backs upright and unyielding. They stayed here when they were young, and they never returned to their hometown when they got old. Drums sounded, pre-war mobilization. Soldiers, Zhang Haiping raised the sword in his hand and shouted loudly, although we are outnumbered by the enemy, as a citizen of Daxia and a member of the Zhang family's army, we must not give up an inch of Daxia's land. Get out. Can't surrender without a fight. Today, his barbarians want to step on my Bizhu and break my Yanmen. Do you agree? Hearing this sentence, Zhang Jiajin's eyes were red. Disagree. Everyone knows that if Yanmen is lost again, the barbarians will do unimaginably cruel things to the people of Bizhu. For the sake of their family, they must never go back. In this battle, do you dare to follow me into the barbarian land and kill his barbarians without leaving a piece of armor? Zhang Haiping waved his hand, expel the bandits to shock my great Xia Xiongfeng. Morale was thoroughly boosted. Zhang Jiajin looked at Zhang Haiping on the horse with burning eyes, with fiery fighting intent in his eyes. We swear to follow the marshal to the death. Swear to follow the marshal. Swear to follow the marshal. Sci-fi was listening. Although she has never experienced this history, the blood in her chest is rolling upwards, and the innate sense of pride in blood is surging at this moment. Since ancient times, Daxia has always been the victory of man over the sky. Heaven does not bless Daxia, but the people of Daxia bless Daxia. Ha 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 ha, Zhang Haiping raised his sword and laughed loudly. The laughter shook the mountains and rivers. Come on, today you and my brothers are going to die together, and save me 300 miles in the summer. Today, you and I, brothers, are united in death, and save my country for 300 miles. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 369. Kill. The city gate opened, and 48,000 people left under the leadership of Zhang Haiping. The sound of hoofs was like thunder. Sci-fi wanted to keep up, but was held down by the two soldiers left behind in the city. One of the soldiers lowered his head, and his voice was already choked up. Master, this is the best way. We don't want to do this, but there is no way. Now Daxia is suffering from internal and external troubles, and it is the most difficult years. The old emperor was too stupid, he only knew that he was drunk with money, and he didn't care about the life and death of the people at all. All the mess was left to Emperor Yin. Fortunately, he has the strength himself, and he has many generals under his command, so he can turn the tide. Sci-fi fell silent. Looking from the city wall, she could already see the dense army of barbarians. And because of the difference in blood, the barbarian men are all over 1.9 meters tall, and 2 meters are no longer rare. There is already a huge disparity in physique. For 48,000 people against 300,000, the chances of winning are extremely slim. The barbarian general who led the army also thought so. He sneered, Zhang Haiping, you and I have been opponents for many years, this is the last time, don't worry, I will capture you alive and let you see how the base who you guarded was annexed by our barbarians. Daxia has vast land and abundant resources. The barbarians have always wanted to occupy Daxia. Seeing that it is about to succeed, who knew that a Yinhuang would suddenly appear? It even took several cities in a row. The barbarian general gnawed his teeth with hatred. Today, they finally found an opportunity, this war must be won back. He wanted to see how Zhang Haiping led more than 40,000 people to fight. The barbarian general raised his hand, and the barbarian soldiers behind him rushed out. But they failed to break through the Zhang family army's line of defense immediately. Zhang Haiping shot down, instantly piercing the chests of the 4 barbarian soldiers. He retracted the gun and stabbed it again. There are several huge bodies in the end. This gave Zhang Jiajin great confidence and encouragement. Brothers, we haven't slept soundly all these years. Why? They don't let us sleep. Zhang Haiping raised his voice, how can we make foreigners believe in our homeland? Work together to get rid of the bandits who deceive me. Cut down the slaughter of barbarians and protect the frontier of Xia. Look up to the sun, but not Yang'an. Obviously Yang'an city is in Zhongzhou, but they can't see it. The barbarians couldn't understand why the Zhang family's army was so small that each of them could have more than one enemy. The more wounds they have, the more courageous they will fight. The Battle of Yanmen was a tragic war. More and more people fell, and the Kaki desert was dyed red with blood. Sci-fi was standing on the city wall, his fingers holding the cold stone. She asked herself what she was not afraid of, even in the deep sea, she could overcome her phobia of the sea. But now, she is afraid. She is standing here, as long as she can enable the ability of the evolutionary, she can smooth the entire battlefield, but she can't save anyone, she can only watch them die. For 3 days and 3 nights, 48,000 people fought against the barbarian army of 300,000 people and won. None of them are evolutionaries, and they have no other abilities. They are a group of ordinary people, but they won. After seeing it with his own eyes, Sci-fi knew that the few sentences in the history books were not enough to describe the real history. The ground is full of corpses. Especially the more than 40,000 Zhang family troops, everyone has scars on their bodies, and it is almost impossible to find a complete place. Zhang Haiping was the only one left. He was also full of wounds, and he held the spear in his hand tightly, but he didn't fall down. Although his face was covered in blood, he was smiling. Winning, Yanmen defended. Stab. The angry barbarian general stabbed Zhang Haiping directly in the right chest with a long knife and picked him up. The army of 300,000 people only had less than 1,000 people left, which was a shame for the barbarians. Not only will I kill you, but I will also kill the monarch you serve. The barbarian general laughed angrily. A yellow-haired child dares to sit in the emperor's seat, he can't keep up with the 5 states of Xia. But I don't want to kill you. The barbarian general suddenly approached. Zhang Haiping, I recognize your ability, why should you bow your head to a yellow-haired child? As long as you join us, our king will still enshrine you as the marshal. Zhang Haiping was too terrifying. With the strength of 40,000 people retreating 300,000, it is the great enemy of the barbarians. If you can't take it for your own use, you must die. I'm not fighting for your majesty, Zhang Haiping gasped, blood dripping down the corner of his mouth. My majesty and I are fighting for the people of the 5 states, you. He sneered, his eyebrows still arrogant, if they are not of my own race, their hearts will be different. Hey! The barbarian general became angry and stabbed the long knife deeper. The knife plunged directly into Zhang Haiping's heart. His eyes widened suddenly, and he spewed a mouthful of blood uncontrollably. On the city wall, Sci-fi's expression changed greatly. Marshal. The barbarian generals did not stop. 1 knife, 2 knives, 3 knives, 13 knives. Zhang Haiping's eyelids became heavy. When a person is about to die, memory begins to fly. He suddenly remembered the letter he received yesterday. It was written by Mrs. Zhang, saying that Zhang Ziyu missed him again, and asked him when he would go back. If he went back this year, he would still be able to catch up with Zhang Suanjin's crown ceremony. Zhang Haiping's lips moved silently, and his left hand hung down. He can't go back. More and more knives came in. Zhang Haiping's heart had already stopped beating, but he was still standing, which was against the laws of nature. I would rather die standing than live on my knees. The barbarian general was also terrified, his hands trembling. Cut off his head. Chop off. Crack. A teenager waved his hand and chopped off Zhang Haiping's head. It's just that the head rolled down, but his body was still straight. The remaining barbarian soldiers couldn't help but take a step back. At the same time, Zhongzhou, Yang'an City. Madame Zhang, who was embroidering Zhang Ziyu's clothes, trembled, her hand was suddenly pierced by a needle, and her eyes widened instantly. She raised her hand, as if she wanted to touch something, and murmured, "Is it an illusion? Why do I feel, you're gone?" At this moment, on the Yanmen battlefield. General, he's still standing. The young general was also horrified. What should I do? Humph, hard bones. The barbarian general took a deep breath. Drag it back, chop it into puree, and feed me wild dogs. Isn't Zhang Haiping proud? Then he will crush this pride. Several soldiers nodded. They are now less than 1,000 people, and there is no way to attack the city anymore. Just as they were about to drag Zhang Haiping's body back, a hurried voice fell. No military advisor. Si fucking quickly climbed down from the city gate, rushed to the battlefield at the fastest speed she could currently have, hugged Zhang Haiping's corpse, and then turned and ran. Where did the white-faced scholar come from? The barbarian general frowned, courtesy of death. Only 5 or 6,000 of the 300,000 army were beaten by Zhang Haiping. The plan to capture Yanmen failed. He was angry, but there were still people who dared to touch his bad head. He immediately swung the long knife and slashed at Si fucking. Crack. The knife slashed at her. In an instant it was a deep wound. The strong fishy sweetness rushed to his throat. Si fucking gritted his teeth, but he didn't spit out a mouthful of blood, still protecting Zhang Haiping's corpse. She can't change the trend of history, and she can't let Zhang Haiping be humiliated by these barbarians. The barbarian general was furious. He can't take care of Zhang Haiping, and can't take care of a military division? Since he had to die, don't blame him for being rude. The barbarian general swung his sword and slashed out again. There was another wound on Si fucking's back. Her steps faltered. The only 2 soldiers left on the city gate changed their faces. Military division. Want to accompany your marshal? I will fulfill you. The barbarian soldier pooh-poohed twice, waving his sword for the 3rd time. A scholar, how dare you be so self-sufficient? But the knife failed to hit. The sound of hooves sounded at this moment, and they came running wildly. Si fucking only felt that her feet were light and she was lifted up. The hand put her on the tall horse, and the owner of the hand turned over and dismounted. In the next second, only the sound of clang was heard, the sound of a sharp weapon being unsheathed. The barbarian general stared, and he lowered his head in disbelief, looking at the dragon sparrow sword inserted in his chest in disbelief. As soon as he opened his mouth, blood poured out of his throat continuously, and he couldn't stop it. Ho ho! The barbarian general clutched his chest and wanted to say something, but he couldn't say a word, and the huge body fell down unwillingly. Under the dragon sparrow sword, there is no living person. The young emperor raised his hand, and the dragon sparrow sword returned to his hand. The icy blade pointed straight at the remaining barbarian soldiers. His voice was faint, but he felt extremely oppressive. Exit Yanmen, Paul is completely dead. Yin Huang, here we come. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 370. The barbarian soldiers never saw how their general was killed. It seems that in a blink of an eye, this brave and skilled barbarian general who even Zhang Haiping died under his sword died. What are you kidding? They looked up tremblingly and saw a face that was too young. He is also wearing silver armor, his long black hair is tied up high by the crown, and his facial features are handsome, but he is fierce. Emperor Yin. It is not that the barbarians have not heard the name of Emperor Yin. Only 4 years after the young emperor ascended the throne, he suppressed the various princes with a thunderous hand. All 10 countries lose, and the Great Xia is unified. He has not yet reached the crown, and he has such a means, which really makes the barbarians feel a sense of crisis. But the barbarian king did not take Emperor Yin seriously. But I never thought that this time the Northwest launched an attack together, and they all failed. Emperor Yin's brows moved slightly, lightly. It seems that I don't even want the whole corpse anymore. SHH. The dragon sparrow sword came out again, and it cut off the heads of more than a dozen barbarian soldiers. He didn't stop, he was still killing. In the blink of an eye, there were more corpses on the ground. A natural god of war, well-deserved reputation. The remaining barbarian soldiers just woke up like a dream and fled like crazy. But Daxia's reinforcements have also arrived. Emperor Yin said lightly, kill them. Then he turned around and met Si fucking's eyes. Don't do this kind of thing in the future, you will die. Si fucking was stunned for a moment, and before he could answer, he led the horse, let's go, advance to the city. After entering the city, Someone quickly took Zhang Haiping's body, and Si fucking was taken away by the people from the Alliance of Magical Doctors for treatment. Your Majesty, the Marshal he. The soldiers knelt on the ground, sobbing, Marshal he. Gu no he paused, go to the main account first and deal with the rest of the marshal. The soldier wiped his tears and immediately took Emperor Yin to the main tent. On the table in the main tent, there is a book written by Zhang Haiping before his expedition. I will die, and there are no soldiers. I will guard the Yanmen Gate and fight the barbarians in the final battle. I swear to death, in order to repay the kindness of the country and wish your Majesty a great victory. Sincerely, Zhang Haiping. Literally loyal. Weeping blood. When Si fucking wrapped the bandages and came in, he was still holding the piece of paper tightly, and his fingertips turned white. After a long time, he said, he went too. This word made Si fucking startled. They say that loneliness is the lone star of the celestial fiend, the father and the mother, the brother and the brother. As long as the lonely person will die. He carried his hands on his back, his voice was light, as if it had nothing to do with him. Gu Yuan doesn't believe it, but now seems to have to believe it. Your Majesty, Si fucking raised his head, you can believe in fate, but you can't accept it. That's interesting. He looked back at her with a slight smile. I haven't asked yet, what's your name? Si fucking suddenly remembered the words she saw before entering the game, and immediately said, my name is Wei. I have no father and no mother, so I have no surname. A good one has no father and no mother, so he has no surname. He suddenly smiled, I don't have a name either, but I have fate. Si fucking blinked. It turns out that Emperor Yin is really anonymous. It seems that yes, she is sometimes right. Wei, a good name. He put his hands behind his back, not slow or hurried. Why is it called Wei, and I share the same robe with my son? Wang Yuxing, repair my spear. Have a grudge against your son. The last sentence fell, and the young emperor's momentum suddenly rose. Although you are leading the post of military division, you have a lot of courage. You are weak, but you are arrogant. Would you like to follow me? Si fucking's eyes moved. I would like to fight with your Majesty. Well, good, cough, cough. He coughed suddenly, blood oozing from the handkerchief. Si fucking remembered that Zhang Haiping said that Emperor Yin was also injured, and her expression changed. Your Majesty, you. Small injury. He pushed her hand away carelessly, with an indifferent expression. Whoever is in the war has no injuries, and he will recover after a while. The war in the west has subsided, and I will guard Yanmen, so can I ask you to send the marshal home now? Si fucking stared at him closely. If your Majesty doesn't say it, I will do it too. After 4 years of not seeing him, he has completely grown into a man. But her identity has also changed. But at least she could still be with him. Okay, he smiled again. It's very comfortable to talk to you. Go, remember to come back, there are still many things to do. He looked at Si fucking's back, and his pupils gradually deepened. There is an inexplicable sense of familiarity. No clothes. He remembered the name. The royal capital, Yongan. After rushing the road for 7 days, Si fucking arrived at Yongan. She was dressed in white, with Zhang Haiping's coffin behind and the flag of Jiang's army in front. The people in Yongan city automatically retreated to both sides of the road and watched the guards go away, tears on their faces. The journey was extremely long. Si fucking walked to the general's mansion, but did not dare to go in for a while. It was Mrs. Zhang who heard the movement and walked out by herself. Si fucking said softly, Madam. Madam Zhang was taken aback, you are. With a bang, Si fucking knelt down on one knee, raised Zhang Haiping's armor with both hands, and said softly, Madam, I'm sorry. For Mrs. Zhang, the words loyal and loyal are too heavy. After sending the husband to send the son, after sending the son to send the daughter. She waited in the general's mansion for so many years, and all that came back were the corpses covered in veil. Madame Zhang was completely stunned. Her eyes were blank for a moment, and she didn't cry. She said softly, "It's not an illusion." She stabilized her body and immediately stepped forward to help Sci-fi up. "Come in, are you hungry? I'll ask Xianjin to prepare some food for you." Sci-fi was taken to the general's mansion. And there was no one left, and Mrs. Zhang finally hugged Zhang Haiping's head and cried. But when she cried, she had to control it, not to disturb Zhang Ziyu, who was waiting for Zhang Haiping's return. In the inner courtyard, Zhang Ziyu stretched out her hand. "Brother, when will daddy come back? I miss him." Zhang Suanjin said softly, "He has come back. In heaven, still guarding his country, his home." Oh, Zhang Ziyu blinked. "Then why didn't I see it? This is the first time Sci-fi has seen Zhang Ziyu alive." At that time, she was only 7 years old, and she was still the youngest daughter. She took out the sandalwood box. "The marshal still has something to do. He asked me to bring the gift to you first." Zhang Ziyu happily took it. Little sister Zhang Suanjin squatted down and rubbed her head. "Big brother is leaving, go to the north, wait for big brother to come back and give you nice jewelry, prepare more dowry, and give little sister a beautiful marriage. Hey, eldest brother, don't take my job on the side." Second young master Zhang hit his chest with his elbow. "I packed my little sister's dowry, watch me kill thousands of barbarians and cut off their heads, all for the little sister." Okay, Zhang Ziyu jumped up and applauded. "Whoever kills more enemies is my best brother. Then I must be my little sister's best brother." Sixth young master Zhang was triumphant. "I want to step on both the eldest and the second brother." Second young master Zhang was furious and chased after him. Zhang Ziyu was their only younger sister, so she naturally wanted to spoil her. Sci-fi stood aside, heard clearly, and clenched his fingers. But Zhang Suanjin could not come back. None of the 9 brothers of the Zhang family came back. In the year of Xiali 682, Zhang Suanjin single-handedly entered the account of the barbarian commander. "Brother Wei, I have something to tell you." Zhang Ziyu suddenly grabbed the corner of Sci-fi's clothes. "Come with me." Sci-fi was stunned, and was pulled aside by Zhang Ziyu. At this time, she smiled. "Actually, Dad has already left, right? I know it, you don't have to hide it from me." Sci-fi was silent for a moment. "Yes, but the marshal is going to see the young lady get married." "Married?" No. Zhang Ziyu had an indifference and calmness that did not match her age. "The Zhang family guards the country, I am the Zhang family." Sci-fi's body shook suddenly. The previous innocent laughter turned out to be her pretending to coax Madame Zhang and Zhang Suanjin. "I often hear from my father and brother how the barbarians slaughtered the people of Bizhu." Zhang Ziyu raised her head. "Brother Wei, if you were me, what would you do?" Sci-fi was stunned, his fingers slowly clenched into fists. "The country hates family feud, I dare not forget it, it will rest until death." When the old emperor was there, the barbarians occupied almost the entire Bizhu and established their own royal court. How many Xia people were humiliated and killed, and how many people were displaced. They even hit Yang'an city in Zhongzhou twice, and they were about to overthrow the great Xia dynasty. The court still ignored Bizhu and let the city fall. In a situation of isolation and helplessness, even Zhang Haiping was powerless. Until Emperor Yin ascended the throne, Bizhu began to slowly recover. But it is true that the barbarians cannot be uprooted in a few years. This battle lasted for 13 years, until the death of Emperor Yin. Zhang Ziyu, who was only 7 years old, stared into her eyes and nodded slowly. "I remember what Brother Wei said." Sci-fi's eyes were shocked. "You?" She knew that Zhang Ziyu really did it. She used her life to defend the country and never retreat. Sci-fi put his hand down. "Some dare not look at this too sensible little girl. The cruelty of history is reflected here. Knowing nothing is cruel. She knew that Zhang Ziyu would die at the age of 22, and that the future Genkuo girl would be pierced to death by 10,000 arrows. But she couldn't say anything. Zhang Ziyu sat on the chair with longing in her eyes. The elder brother and the second brother are gone. When I grow up, I will go to them too. Your Majesty also said that when I grow up, let me lead the army to fight. I want to prove to everyone that I'm no worse than a man. Sci-Fucking's voice was very soft. Your eldest brother and second brother. Zhang Suanjin and other brothers went to Bizhu for 7 years. 7 years later they came back, only with corpses. She lowered her head, tears suddenly falling. Zhang Ziyu was stunned, and she was at a loss. Brother Wei, what's the matter with you? Sci-Fucking wiped away the tears with his sleeves and smiled. It's nothing, you are really amazing. But she had seen the fresh Zhang Ziyu, and could not imagine the tragic death of this town girl. I can't do it now. Zhang Ziyu shook her short legs and was very proud. My eldest brother is the most powerful. The people say that he is more powerful than his father, and he will be a more powerful general in the future. And he is the most beautiful of our parents. Many people have come to ask for relatives, but the eldest brother doesn't seem to be interested in the long-term relationship between children. Sigh, I still want a niece. He is really useless. Sci-Fucking blinked his eyes and laughed softly. Yes. The future is far better than his father, but unfortunately there is no future. Brother Wei, let's have a meal together in a while. Zhang Ziyu pulled the corner of her clothes again. I heard eldest brother say that you are very good at war, and I want to ask you for advice. As she said that, she sighed again, but you will be leaving soon. When I grow up and go to Bizhu to find elder brothers and the others, you must remember to teach me. Well, Sci-Fucking returned to his senses. Okay. Let's go. Zhang Ziyu jumped and took a few steps. As if realizing it was disrespectful, she coughed and learned to walk like Zhang Suanjin. It seems that from this time on, she has been a national female general who can fight on the battlefield. After an unknown time, the system prompt sounded. The sleep time you set has ended. Long-term sleep mode will cause harm to your body. Do you need to switch to abyss mode or wake up? Sci-Fucking chose to wake up. She opened her eyes and pushed the game cabin away. The sky is clear. There is no time limit for this time travel, and she has set a 24-hour sleep mode. In sleep mode, the game time and reality are 10:1, and she just stayed for 10 days. I met Emperor Yin and Zhang Ziyu. Sci-Fucking still couldn't slow down. The scene where Zhang Haiping brought 48,000 Zhang family troops to the battlefield still reverberated in front of her eyes. Too shocking. Sci-Fucking took a few breaths and drank a large glass of water before calming down. She immediately grabbed the phone and called Sang Yanking. Sister Sang, I know how to play Zhang Ziyu. Tell the director that I can audition today. Sang Yanking was stunned for a moment, and some did not respond. What did you say? Why is time closed loop? Ching Ching named Wei because he saw the poems written by His Majesty. But His Majesty wrote that poem because of the name Ching Ching. Fairy love equals V equals.